what's up, guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. This is another CERN watch, and actually I have a good friend of mine, Josh Peck, over at Mini Study Ministries. He's an author. He's written the book Quantum Creation, as well as a few other books, and he actually wrote a book recently on quantum fields, which has a lot to do with CERN. So I wanted to bring him on briefly and have him talk about a video that he recently made called CERN Alchemy, Demonic Stargates, and Creating Alien Life. It's just a 20-minute video, so I encourage you guys to go check it out, subscribe to his channel, all that stuff. Now, first off, I do know you guys are probably waiting for the Anthony Patch interview with Canary Cry Radio. Anthony got sick last week. We had scheduled 2 different dates during the course of the week, but he lost his voice and he was struggling with a cold, so we just had to reschedule, and we're trying to figure out when to do that. So I apologize for the length of time it's taking to get that out, but we will get it out. We just have to get that conversation going. We do plan to do it sometime in the near future, in the next couple weeks, hopefully, so we can get that out. But in the meantime, I'm going to point my attention here to Josh Peck and his stuff. And the first thing I asked him was how he got into all the quantum stuff, because he's been talking about the whole quantum thing in a biblical perspective, which is really unique to anything that's really out there. And he's done some really good work showing some of why the Bible seems to be the best explanation for some of the quantum characteristics. So without further ado, here's Josh Peck talking about how he got into all this.
I really started getting into quantum physics a couple years ago, like in connecting it with the Bible and stuff. I mean, I've always been interested in it, like especially lately. And then all the advancements that they're doing in quantum physics, and especially at CERN, you know, discovering a new particle, it's not even really news anymore because it happens all the time. But I actually kind of got inspired by your film, Age of Deceit 1 and 2, and especially the second one, because I had all the alchemy stuff. Once I started researching for my new book, I just sent it off to the publisher, so hopefully that'll be available soon. I got into researching quantum field theory and what that actually is, and that really helps explain how the LHC at CERN actually works, like what it does. When I looked into it, and I'm surprised that it didn't hit me up like right when I saw it. It took a couple of months, but I realized that what they're doing is alchemy. You know, they're changing one substance into another, and it's all based around quantum field theory, which is it's an idea that's not communicated well from physicists to the general public, and that's pretty much everything in science. But quantum field theory, I mean, it's intentionally, I believe it's intentionally obfuscated. One physicist, Sean Carroll, almost came out in a way. He did kind of come out and say that. I have the quote in the movie I made, but anyway, basically what quantum field theory is, the basic idea is it just states that everything, all elementary particles, or you know, fundamental particles, arises out of quantum fields. And basically, if you think of like every point in space as having a value, like for example, you could think about the temperature in the room. Every point in space has a value. So if you go higher up towards the ceiling, the values are going to be greater at every point in space. If you go lower to the floor, you know, they're going to be lower because temperature is lower. A quantum field is kind of like that. I mean, temperature is just the quality of the air, so it's not a true field, but it's at least a good thought exercise. So quantum fields are everywhere, and all elementary particles come from them. So there's a quantum field for up quarks. It's an up quark field. Photons come from the electromagnetic field, gravitons from the gravitational field, so on and so forth. So everything in existence really is fields. And as it turns out, particles, they're in a way they kind of don't exist. A particle is really just our perception of a wave in a field. So everything's energy. And you know, Einstein showed that with E equals mc squared. It's the conversion, right, to conversion of energy to mass, and vice versa. So that being the case, everything coming out of fields, that's how the LHC is able to do what it does. That's how it's able to produce new particles. It fires 2 protons together, and it can a Higgs boson, you know, for example, can come out of that. The protons don't have anything in common with the Higgs boson. It's not that the things that make up the protons are coming together and combining a new way to make a Higgs boson. It's not like that at all. In the movie, I give the example that it's like if you throw milk and a banana in a blender, you can make a smoothie. And that's not how the LHC works at all. The LHC works is if you put a milk and a banana in the blender, it's like getting a diamond ring out of it. What happens is when protons smash together, they release energy, but that energy has to go somewhere, so it releases into these other quantum fields. And when a quantum field fluctuates enough, that's what a particle is. So if they do enough of these, just by chance, they'll hit, like the Higgs field, for example, and they'll create a Higgs boson. So that's basically how it works. Well, what that really is, that's alchemy. They're changing one substance into another completely different substance, and it's on a quantum level. It's really really small and everything, and but I mean, just imagine if they continue on doing that on the macro level, in a few years, if they're going to be able to do that, and I don't see why not. I say in the movie that the LHC is basically the modern day version of a philosopher's stone. It's something that can transmute one substance, protons, to another substance, basically any other particle if you have enough energy. So that's kind of what inspired the movie, is just getting this information out, because science makes it seem really complicated and really convoluted, and in some ways it is, but the big ideas, the principles behind it they're pretty easy to understand. It's just, instead of thinking about particles, we got to think about fields.
Right. And it's interesting because you have circles, right, to do rituals with alchemy, and you also have this huge, gigantic circle with the LHC. But based on the quantum fields, the understanding of it that you explained here, what is the potential of portals? I know you've talked about that quite a bit. Can a portal emerge from that as well?
That's something that I've went back and forth on, and I've wondered that. And the strange thing is, gravitons, they just by nature can traverse dimensions without any help from a machine or anything. Just by their own nature, how they were created, they can go into higher spatial dimensions. That's actually the leading theory right now on why gravity is so much weaker than the other forces. The idea is there might be extra dimensional matter out there, and it's pulling the gravity into these higher dimensions. So gravitons can already do that. Cosmic rays are already doing that, as they enter the Earth. The LHC is doing that in a way, but I don't think in the way that a lot of people think of it. Like again, it's not that two particles are smashing together, and it's all about energy and which field that goes into. Now gravitons are created in theoretically, it's never been observed, but they're zero mass. So I mean, gravitons and photons, things that have no mass, they're really easy to create. So those are created all the time. Now those gravitons can go into higher dimensions. So the idea is, possibly they might act as like a gateway, or a Stargate in a way, for other particles possibly to go through. Or now the idea that they're doing at CERN is they want to measure these higher dimensions. Well, first they want to confirm that they exist, and they do that by measuring gravitons once they can actually do that. And then they want to actually measure these dimensions. Well, to be able to measure it, you have to have access to it. So in that way, absolutely, they are looking at ways to create some type of opening from here to there. And also, what's interesting is there's a documentary, and I have it linked in one of my blogs, where the physicist Brian Greene was talking about gravitons, and he said that what they're trying to do, one idea that they're pursuing, is to use gravitons as a type of communication system to higher dimensions. And basically it would work like binary. You just affect the spin of a graviton, and then you just send them through, and hope that something on the other end can read it, and and send something back. So all you need is a detector for that, which they already have plenty of those there. So uh that's something that they're actually looking at doing now, which is just mind blowing. That this isn't more mainstream.
Isn't that what quantum computers are already claiming to be doing? Is that they're, because the spin can be 1 and 0 at the same time, they can effectively compute at a, astronomically faster rate than a normal computer?
Yes, and it even goes deeper than that with quantum computing. That's another really big deal that I've been focusing on lately too, because quantum computing it uses this weird effect of nature that we know nothing about. It's called quantum entanglement. And basically when two particles, like say two photons, are entangled, they can communicate at an absolute instance. No time goes by between, one photon communicating with the other. They could be on opposite ends of the universe, and they'll still communicate at an absolute instant, supposedly, faster than the speed of light, which is supposed to be impossible. The only way that that can be physically possible, based on the laws of physics that we're aware of, is if higher dimensions are involved. When you add higher dimensions, you can do a lot. You can do a lot more to get around certain laws of physics. So basically, this information, I believe, I think this is the most convincing theory out there on how this works, is actually using something extra dimensional, or is breaching dimensions to be able to do this. Those photons might actually be connected through, hyperspace, or through a higher dimensions. We wouldn't see it because we're just three dimensional, so we can't, we don't have that type of perception. But they might actually have a connection. They could be the same exact particle. I mean, there are particles that are in they can be in more than one place at one time. For all we know, photons could all be the same. They could all be the same particle. But anyway, so quantum computing uses this quantum entanglement thing to work. And what's kind of scary about that is, we don't know where we're sending that information. When if we had, like, say in like 10, 20 years, when quantum computing is like gets mainstream and is accessible to, the general public, and I believe it will be if it even takes that long, all the information that we're sending, it's going into higher dimensions. We have no idea what's out there, what's looking at it, what it's going to do with it. But it also gives them a pipeline back to us, And I do believe, and I should clarify, extra dimensional and spiritual are synonymous terms. So when we think of like fallen angels and things like that, or the angels of God, or anything like that, I believe that is extra dimensional. It's not redefining the term; it's just giving more clarification to what the Bible's talking about. And that's what quantum creation is all about. My book. But anyway, so we're sending our information to these things. Who knows what they're doing with it, and who knows what they can do when they have that connection back to us. So there's nothing that's really going to stop it. We're going to have, quantum computing is going to be a reality for everyone. I think it's going to be the new like revolution, like how the internet, was probably the latest like really big one. I think quantum computing is going to be like that. And what's especially frightening about it is how much control the elite that are in control of these things, how much control they can have over the general public with something like that.
Well, you know what? I don't want to have you go too much longer here because you have so much material on your own channel and your books and everything else. So tell us where people can go subscribe to your channel and, get your blog, your books, all that stuff.
Absolutely. My channel is youtube.com/Josh Peck Disclosure. Everybody listening to this, all of Gonza's subscribers, please come and subscribe to me. I need you guys. Me and Gonz can share. We're friends. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Please come and subscribe to me. I'm begging you. But yeah, that's where people can subscribe and watch the movie. It's again, that's CERN, Alchemy, Demonic Stargates, and Creating Alien Life. I'm sure you're going to have a link in the show notes. And then my website is ministudyministry.com. I'm also host of a show called The Sharpening Report. All the information is on the website, and we're always doing, new news stories, and we're doing all sorts of stuff. So people can check back at the website often. It's updated almost on a daily basis now. So that's basically where they'll find everything.
So there you have it. There's Josh Peck. Go check out his stuff. All the links are in the description section. And there's a lot more that he's done. There's a lot more he's talked about. We've even interviewed him on Canary Cry Radio, which you can find. And half of the episode on Canary Cry Radio, we're kind of just joking around. And some people got offended by that. But, come on. We're just having a good time here. Rejoicing in the Lord together as fellow brethren. So in any case, hope you guys got something out of it. Go check out Josh's channel and hope you guys have an awesome day. God bless.